It's Powertools, and we got Chris Lake in the house. How are you doing, brother?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back again.
Oh, man, it is so good to have you. I mean, it's exciting. You just dropped an album, Chemistry. The album is amazing. How do you feel? A lot of prep work went into this.
Yeah, a lot of work went into this. Yeah, I'm excited for people to hear it now. And yeah, it's a bit weird just having it out. Like I said, I think I told you off air, I've been working on this for a long time, and preparing to get this out to the world. And it's kind of exposing, and now people can judge what I've been doing for the last 2 years.
What made you decide to do an album like 20 years into your career? You're like, you know what I need to do?
Yeah.
Put some more stress on myself and drop an album. There had to be some inspiration behind it.
Yeah, no, you said it. It was kind of, I just like making things difficult for myself. And no, I don't know. You've been playing a lot of my stuff for the last however many years. And let's just say like the last 6 or 8 years, all of my stuff was very club orientated, and I felt like I started going through a bunch of demos from like 7 or 8 years ago, and I was listening to how my sound had evolved and what had changed, and I noticed that there was a lot less musicality in what I was doing, and I just had this feeling that I wanted to reconnect with that musicality and try and do it with a new spin. And I kind of had a vision of what that would sound like, but I also didn't really feel like I had the skills at the time to kind of like do it. And I was like, you know what, let's just try and make this happen. Like, try and make this kind of vision that I had in my head. I wanted to be able to do it, so I started working on songs, and I started collaborating with people, and just making it fun, and working with artists that I love being in a room with. Mm-hmm. As well as respecting musically. And 2 years later, I was kind of like just firing these things out, and everything started clicking, and then I was able to wrap up the album. So I'd say like the first year was kind of like an exploratory phase. Right.
You had to figure out, I mean, for layman's terms, I like to put it, you were killing it with bass lines.
Yeah.
You had to figure out the DNA, how to make chords, make it more musical, and still make it work so you could still play it in your set. And that had to take some time.
Honestly, it's actually quite difficult. There's this sort of one of the easiest ways to make things work in a club is to simplify them and actually take the musicality out of it.
Right.
Which is powerful and effective, but sometimes it kind of like lacks a little bit of soul and feeling. And I had a musicality and a vision of like that musicality that I felt like I could try and merge with what I'd been doing the last few years, and it was really hard.
That's hard.
It was really hard.
Yes,
really hard.
But I mean, you do some things with the chords that like are very complex. There's like some complex chord changes, like unexpected, like chord turns. What were you listening to for inspiration? Were you listening to Old Disclosure? What were you listening to?
I wasn't listening to anything. No, I was just getting in the room and just vibing with people. So, yeah, that's actually a big point. I wasn't listening to anyone else. So, it sounds weird. I know I'm a label head and everything. I run a label, I do A&R and stuff, but I did less of it the last couple of years.
Right.
And, allowed my team to, the team that I've built up, I put more trust in them to work that sort of stuff. And I didn't listen to as much stuff. I just focused on what I was doing, my own silly little ideas going around in my head.
and now that you've got the album out, I'm sure when you started it, it sounded like a great idea. Like, let's do an album. Yes, let's do an album. But then at some point, that stress kicks in.
Absolutely.
That was about a due date.
Yeah, it was about 3 days later. I was like, what a dickhead. What are you doing?
It was only 3 days later you realized
I know.
Quick.
I've told people, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do an album, and then they start like throwing timelines at me, and I'm like, oh man, come on.
But what did you take away?
The new Grand Theft Auto's coming out. I need time for this.
I got other things.
It's like you didn't wait.
What did you take away from doing the album once it's done? Like, what did you learn about yourself as a producer, or What did you like from the whole experience?
Well, I think that doing an album in dance is just very, very difficult. I think, that's a really good question. I have to think about that. I definitely have a lot of respect for the most successful electronic albums, because there's just so much work that goes into Envision, and you see how difficult it is for producers to put one song together.
100%.
So yeah, I'm definitely proud that I was able to put something together that I can listen to, and I feel I'm excited to show people. I'm proud to show people.
You should be happy. I mean, this album is really, really, really dope. I mean,
thank you.
One of the songs that I really like on the album is Reach For You. It's a collab with MPH featuring Kelly Lee Owens. And I love that it starts off on like some Breaks UK vibe, and then at the end it's kicking into some house vibes. Yep. Talk to us about the inspiration for Reach For You.
I feel like the inspiration wasn't like this vision that I had necessarily for a song. A lot of what happened with these a lot of the creations of these songs really were just spawned by the relationships I was developing with the artists that I was working with. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that I focused on, and then I just felt like the music all flowed off the back of that. So throughout the journey of working on this album, I met up with Miles, mm-hmm. whose artist name's MPH, and I don't know, there's just something about we really clicked. We really clicked. I love what he's doing. I think he likes what I'm doing. Who knows? You'd have to ask him. But there was when we were getting in the studio together, there was something that was just always inspiring. Mm. And yeah, I don't know. He'd play me little bits here and there, and he actually came up with a version of the first main synth riff that's in that track. Mm-hmm. And I'd actually worked on a song with Kelly Lee Owens maybe a year before, completely different vibe, but I had the vocal. I just didn't really feel like I had the clear vision of what the beat needed to sound like to make that song feel alive. But then me and Miles were working on this idea, and I was like, well, how about if we take this, we change the chords a little bit, and I throw this vocal in. Suddenly something's really starting to happen. Right. And that's when the song came alive. And I had to call Kelly, and I'm like, that beautiful song that you've done, well, it's completely different. It's completely different, and I hope you're okay with it. But Kelly was a massive part, obviously a massive part to that, because her vocals really, the song I don't think is really anything without the vocal. Right. But the process of the song was completely separate. I can't even remember actually what the initial demo sounded like that I wrote with Kelly, but it was way deeper and more.
It seems like you like to get into the kitchen and cook with the artist.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's pretty much the whole of the album. So, and I know it's not as common in dance music. There's not a lot of that happening now. It's almost like, I was actually thinking about this morning. I was just thinking, I swear there's just so many artists out there, they don't even realize that there's a thing called a microphone.
Right.
It's sort of like every vocal seems to be a sample. Right. But there's a whole world of unwritten creations out there that's just sort of like not being tapped into. And sure, I sample as well as, but I'm not dissing sampling. Sampling is absolutely fantastic and has created some of the best albums in the world. I mean, two of them that I think of, involving sampling would be Fatboy Slim's is it You Come a Long Way, Baby? Yeah. I think that was the album, and then, basically everything by The Prodigy. Right. And it's all sampling.
And Daft Punk.
Yeah, Daft Punk, and it's some of the best albums out there. And I love sampling, and creative sampling is fantastic, but, kind of like, I'd say where 80 to 90% of the scene is right now, it's really about sampling previous works, and which is very enjoyable and very, very effective. But I question where it really kind of like moves things forward necessarily with fresh new ideas. So I love getting in the room, blank sheet, no idea, and just no idea what I'm doing, and trying to work on new things. And it's actually why a lot of the time as well I work with people that don't often work in dance, because then I think you've got a greater chance of hearing ideas that are not colored by everything else that's going on in the dance scene.
Exactly.
And then you can pull new ideas, and
because they're just writing great songs. They're not, as opposed to if you bring an artist that's from the dance world, they're going to kind of sing to the dance beat.
Yeah.
And you want a great song that you can then craft into a dance record.
Yeah. And I'm not like, I don't approach things trying to write a hit. I just try and write something that I connect with.
Right.
It's sort of Satisfy Me sorry, I'm going completely off on one here. You can tell I'm very caffeinated.
No,
but so Satisfy Me is a really good example of that. Like
that's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, that was an absolute pig of a song to work on. But that essentially started. That was the idea of that was written by Christian Alexander and Tim Randolph. Mm-hmm. Which it was like almost like a trip hop kind of like down tempo, like spaced out demo, kind of like 90. Well, actually, I think like 80 beats per minute. Really, really slow.
Crazy.
And there was just like this little bit of vocal that Christian sung. It was just like, "Why don't you satisfy me?" Right. And I was just like, that has got a magic to it. Right. But it didn't actually have a completed. Like a completed phrase that I could figure out how to use.
In the original
so the
demo?
Guitar was like a BV, like a backing guitar at the very outro of the song.
So you went through every stem.
Yeah, I went through every stem, found that one, cranked up the volume, and I was like, "Oh, I've actually got like this sounds like a magical musical lead." Right. And so, but the funny thing was, I actually sat on that for nearly 2 years, and then I met up with Levin Kali, who's another fantastic artist here in LA. I love working with him. He's like the guy that did he did the vocal on Skrillex's Chicken Soup.
Okay.
And he also did he did what was the song that he did with another? Tell me how you feel. Da, 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 da. That one. Yeah, Tell me how you feel. He did that vocal.
Right.
He's done some stuff with Anti-Up, and anyway, he came over and he's like, I was messing around with my buddy last night, and we did this demo. I think it's really cool. I want to play it to you, and it was called Satisfied, and I'm like, oh shit. So I'm working on a song called Satisfy Me, and you've just given me a demo that's called Satisfied. I'm like, this is going to be way too close to home, and this isn't going to work. Anyway, I played it, and I'm like, the first half of that vocal is magical. How about if I take that and put it with that other bit?
You combine two different vocals from two different songs.
So that vocal is two different singers,
crazy,
sung in different sessions, different keys, and just by magic, Lavin's vocal is pitched up, and when you put it together with Christian's vocal, completes the phrase and sounds like it's exactly the same singer. And I've never had that before. It's the wildest thing, and that's what happened with that song. And then once I had that phrase and I got it all put together, I was like, bang, here we go, I've got the song. But that took 2 years.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy. That's a great story on that. Yeah. What I love about you is how you've redefined house music. It even got to a level where, I like Chris Lake sounding house music. My question to you is, when you come up with a really dope idea, it drops. Next week, there's 1,000 imitation songs. Mm-hmm. Are you like, all right, that's cool. That's flattery. Are you like, come on, guys, let my ideas breathe? Well,
there's different stages to it. Right. I probably feel like both of those things. Initially, it's like, I can swear on this thing, right?
Yeah, no,
yeah. You
right.
Anyway, sorry, you can bleep that.
Right.
Right, you can bleep that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so once I've put away the doll that I'm stabbing, that's causing physical harm on it. No, I'm happy. I think it's great. I approach things trying to move things forward.
Right.
And I try.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I fail most of the time.
I think
it's
sort of forward.
But that's my approach, and I'm trying not to it goes back to actually listening to other people's songs.
Right.
I'm genuinely trying not to do this.
Right.
Looking to the side and going, oh, okay, that's what that person's doing. That's
Right.
what that person's doing. It's like being in school, like
Right.
looking at everyone's answers for the test. I'm trying not to look at other people's answers, because otherwise you just end up with the same score sheet. And you're not coming up with your own ideas. So I try to focus on my own ideas. And the problem with that is that if you come up with a really good idea, it gets rinsed by other people. But that's fine.
Right.
That for me is like validation, and I use that as a sign. Move on.
Yeah, you got to push it to the next.
Yeah.
Right.
And here I am. Still trying.
After
It's fun. It's fun though. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
I think honestly, it pushes you to try different things. Mm-hmm. Because if there wasn't all that imitation, you might be like, oh, I could do something like it again.
Yeah, well, there's always that kind of like choice. You've got like, if you have something successful, you've got the choice of replicating and rinsing it. Honestly, there is a much easier path to financial success. I'm not driven by that.
Right.
I'm not driven by that at all. I want to love what I do. I want to look back in 10 years time and in 20 years time and love the decisions that I made and feel proud about what I've done myself. That's what's important to me. So,
to that fact, if you're looking back in your last, let's just say 10 years, what song are you most proud of right now? Like, what song were you like, man, I still listen to it, I'm like, God damn, this is good.
Yeah, Turn Off the Lights. It's been that one for the last 10 years. Yeah, kind of just, again, because I didn't have an exact vision of how it would sound, but I did have this kind of this technical vision of what it could be. And then when I met up with Alexis Roberts, who sung on the song, well, she actually sung on a few of the songs on this album. When I met Alexis, I kind of I was like, okay, that's the voice that I can kind of make something something happen with. And I was actually determined to try and make a dance song using hip hop drum samples. So, so if you actually listen back to Turn Off the Lights and you actually listen to the individual drum hits, you'd hit that. You'd all of those would be used in a hip hop track, and that was what I did. And that was actually really hard. It was really hard to make something that would like hit using those sounds, because they just don't really work. This one it did. But that's the reason why when I made Turn Off the Lights, when we released it, I never sent it to anyone. I never promoted it to anyone. I just released it without any promo, because I was actually really hesitant to let people hear it, because I didn't think they would actually like it. It's weird. It's the only one. It's the only one that I've done in the last 10 years. But luckily, it clicked.
Right.
Yeah, but it wasn't helped by me because I didn't promote it.
And, your song Ease My Mind with Abel Balder, you were sitting on that tune for a while. Is that going back to, I know you're playing it out for a while. You've been were you tweaking it as you're playing it to try to figure out the chords and the movement?
Well, you know what? This is another element to the album. I haven't been completely focused on how it sounds in a club. That's one of the things that I've kind of it's not been my sole North Star it is for everything else. I wasn't actually sitting on that song for that long. That one took a lot of work to get to where it ended up. We kind of had an initial songwriting session, me and Abel. We did that in LA, and it was fantastic. We were really locked onto a great vibe, but we didn't really have this. The song wasn't complete. It took quite a lot of massaging and redos of the song, redos of all the takes to kind of get it to where it ended up. And but both Abel and myself were determined. We had a vision of what it could be. It just took a lot of work to get it to that point. But yeah, we got it there in the end. And I definitely think that's got to be up there with Turn Off the Lights. I'm very proud of how that sounds. That's turned out really good.
Yeah, I think so too. It goes back to making, to what you were saying, to your point, is making something musical that also works on the dance floor. That's a tough thing to do, and I think this album reflects that. One other thing I love that you're doing, all the production streams you've been doing on Twitch. I mean, what I love is how you're super honest, but you said something to this effect. And I love this. You said,
"Is this the moment I get cancelled?"
No, no, not at all. Because even I was like, he's absolutely right. You said something to the effect. Sometimes sometimes you make bass lines and beats, and that's all they are. And sometimes you make song ideas, and that's all they are. But the magic is when it all comes together. And I said that sums up Chris Lake, because even like tracks like Deceiver, they're still songs. There's still a beginning,
barely,
a middle,
but yeah,
and
yeah.
no, but there still is. It's the difference of listening to something 3 times and listening to something 30 times. And I think that approach that you've taken in saying it that way and doing these Twitch streams, you're educating people. Giving insight to how you work and how you think.
Yeah, I think if people are patient with it, I'm sure there's something to learn. I think I'm definitely trying to be as honest as I can with these streams, and it's very exposing, and honestly, quite frankly, at times pretty embarrassing that people are watching me make some of the shittest music you've ever seen on the planet. It's just like, but that's the reality of music production. Sometimes it's just not pretty, and you're really searching for a piece of magic that you can latch onto. Mm-hmm. And there's been a couple of moments there where, whilst on stream, it's been hours of just absolute terrible ideas, and then suddenly there's this little moment you can see, my vibe picks up, and the vibe of everyone that's chatting and commenting on it, they're feeling it as well, and it's a really nice moment, and I want to do more of that and allow. Just increase the chances of capturing those moments again. Mm-hmm. My hope is that I write something that's like a Turn Off the Lights on stream. That would be That would be. Was that me? That's terrible. That's so unprofessional, Chris. Wow. I had it on. I had it on Do Not Disturb.
It's all good.
But that's my hope, and I also want to bring more guests on. To show what collaboration can be like.
Right.
My vision would be, I'd love to have singers on there. That's going to take the right kind of singer though, because it's pretty. I mean, there's showing me going through drum samples,
right,
and then there's listening to
20 takes
of a maybe, slightly out of tune kind of.
Right.
You got to have the right artists. So.
But to show, I think, to pull back the curtain and to show that, I think will really get younger producers excited about exploring and creating new vocal ideas.
Yeah. I think I've had some really nice messages off people as well. From the streams, saying how it's sort of. One of the big things is it seems like it's actually affecting a lot of people I know with regards to their workflow and their work ethic and their approach towards music. Actually, ironically, there's a great saying by, I've been telling everyone this. Can you pass my phone a second? There's a great quote from Picasso. Was it? Let me find this. I was literally looking at this earlier. We can edit this gap out, can't we?
All good.
I need to pull it up because I just don't want to butcher it. He says, inspiration does exist, but it must find you working. And I think that's one of the best quotes I've ever heard. You know,
one of my favorite quotes is similar to that. Is the harder you work, the luckier you are. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. You got to be working.
Turn up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's really my approach in the studio,
and I like the fact that when you're doing the streams, like some people, at least think production is producing music at 2:00 in the morning, and it can be. Yeah. But you're giving this kind of like 9 to 5. This is what I do. Mm-hmm. Put in the time. It's not the most glamorous thing in the whole wide world. Going through snares, it's just not.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the fact that you're showing that at this level.
Yeah. I'm happy to do it. It's fun. Let's see where it goes.
Let's talk about Psycho. Man, that tune is everything. I hear the Prodigy inspiration. I hear the 90s rave inspiration. Talk to us about Psycho.
Psycho involves the least talent out of any song on the album. It's the one, it's kind of like, I feel like it's the most automatic kind of like, it's like the song that my kind of like my reflexes just like gravitate to. I make beats like this all the time, and this one was a really fun one. It just kind of like fell together. It's just, you know, it's actually like it's the one song on the album that really has no musicality at all.
But it balances it out.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like, and I'm definitely talking down on it. But it's just a fucking.
But it's
noisy little bastard of a song, isn't it? So.
But I think when you put that noisy bastard song in the context of your album, it makes the chords even pop more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you say that. Nice validation for keeping it on there. It was definitely.
Were you guys fighting for that one? To be on the album?
Well, do you know what? If I'm honest, it was definitely the one that was the closest to the cutting board on there for me, just because it was. Because of what I said, but then I decided I think it belongs on there. So it feels I think that what you just said was the same way I felt about it.
Right. Do you think in 10 years from now, producing music is going to be typing in prompts to AI? Like, where do you see AI in the future of producing music?
Pass the tissues. I'm going to start crying. That's a great question. I'm not sure. I mean, I've said quite publicly I'm very pro technology, and I love what technology has done, what technology has brought to us. I mean, come on, just look around us right now.
Right.
Technology is glorious.
Right.
But AI is challenging, and I have no idea what it's going to bring. But surely, I think, IKEA comes along and kind of like, figures out a way to mass produce something that everyone needs,
right?
And does it great. And I'm sure AI is going to do something great, but there's still also craftsmen out there that can do exactly the same thing that IKEA does, but does it by hand,
right?
And it ends up being 5% better, 100 times more expensive. I would hope that music still has that thing, because at the end of the day, I feel as if like there's just I wonder if the computer will ever learn to make stupid, terrible mistakes that really make something special. And that you feel
that's interesting. You're right. The mistakes do make things special.
Yeah, kind of beyond the algorithm, something that like just
unless
meaning.
You teach it to make the mistakes.
Well, you never know. I'm sure in the very long term, I'm sure that's achievable. But maybe I hope in our lifetime there's hopefully we have a place in making music. Because I just feel as if like there's got to be a point where there's got to be. Sometimes when you hear a story behind a song, doesn't it make you feel the song more when you actually know the story behind it? And if it's like if if the story is that it's like, well, Nvidia's got this latest chip, and and it's allowed us to hear this catchy little ditty, the like 30-second clip that you can put on your TikTok video. Is that really gonna make you feel a song better? I don't think it will.
Right.
So hopefully humans have got a place in.
I hope.
We're fucked.
I hope so. But to give you a counterpoint, disco was made by all bands. It was all bands, musicians playing in, and then the computer changed everything, and it allowed people like you, me,
to sample the shit out of them.
To sample the shit, to make music without a band. And there was people going, that's not real music. That's being done in a computer. Yeah. This is real. You need real musicians. And it moved on.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I kind of like.
Hope not. I'm not saying. I hope the soul still stays with people producing music, but I can see how things do move on.
Yes. Yeah, I think something will change. It'll change something. I'm sure we'll adapt in some way. I'm interested to see how it is. It's definitely like it's a challenging one.
Right.
It's definitely a challenging one.
Right.
I don't have the answers. I'll watch eagerly to see what changes. There's some fantastic technology within it. There's really good tools that are very helpful to me. Like. AI now can take a full song and split the stems up in a really good way, so you can strip the vocals off of songs that you couldn't get the vocals for before. That's opening up a whole world of awful bootlegs and really good ones as well. So and
speaking to that, because I'm sure you used it. Is that Messy Edit ever coming out?
No.
That's crazy, because when I saw that and I saw that you did it as a bootleg, I'm going to be honest, I'm like, they're just setting it up. It's already, the deal's done. It's going to come together as an official remix.
This is what happened. I heard that song, and it's a magical song.
Right.
She's what a phenomenal performance, and I just had an idea straight away. I had no idea it was trending.
Right.
And I was in a I think it was in a hotel room, and I made it on the laptop in bed in 3 hours. I was just like, I had a very, very clear vision. I think I texted you, didn't I? I was like, come on to something. I really should be streaming this. I should have gone on. I wish I had gone on stream and done it. But I had the idea, made it, and that was it. The song was done, and then I played it, and I gave it to Fish. He played it, and he called me the next day. He's like, "That is massive," and then I gave it to someone at Sirius. That's why you guys have got it. No one else really has it.
Yeah.
I never gave it out to anyone.
Right.
So. But you guys have been causing me a lot of problems. I've been getting messages I actually had one as I walked in.
Yeah, you gave it to Dre. Yeah. You gave it to Dre. And so it's never coming out. You guys have never had a discussion.
They blank me.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
They don't want to. I don't think they want to do remixes. So, you know what? All good.
All good. Stay special in your set.
Yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, it's her record, and I just kind of some silly dance music producer comes along and samples the vocal and puts a beat on it. It's like it gives me no right to the song. It's her song, and I respect that. And it's her right to say "F you, Chris Lake," and she's done it really well. Good on her. Respect.
So your album starts off with On and On, which I think is an amazing track. And I think it sets the tone for the whole album. It's a collab with How do you say her name?
Well, I honestly can't pronounce it properly. Yael Watchman.
Yes. Okay. And the chords, the ARP. Why did you make this song the first song on the album?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I put shitloads of work into it, and I felt like it was the perfect opener. I don't know. It just I felt like it just launched me. Just drew me in. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. It's not like too long of an intro, and it's just her voice is stunning. I loved working with her. She was, I just felt like it drew me in. I just felt like it was a good way to kind of like engage the listener.
Right.
So
it's a great opening track, man.
Well, I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this one because I played a version of it in 23 with Fisher at the Hollywood Boulevard show, and it was completely different. And so many people have been asking me for that version, and that's never going to come out. I never really got it to hit the way that I wanted it to hit, and that's why I kind of changed it. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's my songs, my decisions.
What do you look for when you say it doesn't hit the way I want it to hit? Break that down for us. Was it the mix, the production?
The mix, the production, the everything. It just like there was just choices that were made that like I just couldn't really get the balance of it all to come together and it to work on every sound system the way that I wanted it to work. That's important to me. What
are the different sound systems? Right.
You know, the phone. Great speakers, the car, the Camry, the one with the...
You're still doing the car test?
Yeah, of course, doing the car test. Love it.
I feel like the phone test has replaced the car test, but...
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the cars are great. And then, just all sorts. I listen to my songs in all sorts of environments. And, it wasn't working for me. I just knew... I really, really tried to make it work. Mm-hmm. It wasn't happening. I just didn't feel like, I just couldn't make it click. So I just abandoned it. I was like...
And do you start from scratch?
Yeah. Just pull the faders down, start a new project.
Then start bringing new project.
New project.
Okay.
And start bringing
That's interesting.
In. Yeah.
And just start fresh. Just grab the
ironically,
vocal.
I mean, I must have done... I did a lot of versions of that song, and I actually got one... When did I hand in the album? End of January. I handed in the album end of January, and it was 2 weeks before the hand in, and I did a version of the track. Got it mastered, got it back, and I'm like, I redid it all again. I did it again, like faders down, started again, and that ended up on the album. So
that's crazy.
I'm an idiot.
No, it's perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you have to be happy. At the end of the day. Doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. At the end of the day, you got to feel like, I love this.
I'm still updating masters, middle of June. Still sneakily swapping masters, changing a little kick level. Like, honestly, just details that no one would ever care about. But
kick is up a half a dB. Now it's it.
Yeah, you know what happens is I learn a new technique in the studio, and then I look at the 15 tracks on the album, and I'm like,
I need to apply them.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's amazing.
We've got a problem. Call Spotify and Apple and Tidal. Yeah, Anyway,
gotta re-upload.
Yeah, which is actually much more difficult than you think.
Right.
Much more difficult.
As I know. Yeah, as it's in the system. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to take down. Yeah, I can imagine. You've openly talked about how at one point in your career you were producing stuff that you weren't really happy with.
Yeah.
I want to know, what was the song that got you back on track? Whether you did this and you went, man, this is the path forward now. I'm loving this vibe.
Well, there was a few of them. I'm trying to think, what would be the first one? Because I felt good when I was making like...
Was it Stranger?
Yeah, there was like Stranger.
Dance With Me.
The Dance With Me was much later. I think Stranger. I think I did one with Anna Leno. What was that called again?
The one with Anna?
Yeah, Anna Leno.
The 303 one? Or that
What was the song we did again? Anyway, I did one with Anna Leno. I can't remember the name of it. And then there was Chest. There's a song called Chest.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
So it's more like
that's a great question.
It's more like a string of them where It wasn't just one song. Mm-hmm. It's more like a moment where you're like, this is the vibe.
But then the song that really solidified that moment and really started like the charge towards what I think what everyone knows me for was Operator.
Right.
That was the one that
Yes.
really that was the one that really landed, and that was the one that kind of like it felt like it was the start of
a
people
sound.
and people kind of like forgetting a lot of what I'd done before.
Right.
So and
And
with
you
a whole new audience and.
Right.
Yeah.
And that had to make you feel happy.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, I worked towards that, so it's nice that it's nice that it happened. So,
Right.
but that was a long time ago now, 2016, I think. Yeah,
Things get lost because of COVID.
Yeah.
It seems shorter. Some things seem longer. Man, this album is amazing. You did a great job. I think for me, it's one of the best house albums I think ever. I think it's going to go up there. Like when 10 years from now, we're going to listen back to this album and go, it's a great album.
thank you.
It better get nominated for the Grammy Dance Album. If not, we got problems.
I'm sure I'll be up against fucking some non-house act
Right.
if I ever get in there.
Up against a Britney Spears album or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of that's the whole thing, right?
But yeah, no, that's a whole nother conversation. But we appreciate you coming on and congratulations on the album.
I appreciate it. Thanks for listening and thanks for having me on here again. And it's nice to see you and in the new spot. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Powertools.